In this video, I'm going to share with you the secret to good management and to doing good one-on-ones. It's probably one of the most useful videos that I've ever done for Founder Friday. So what are one-on-ones? One-on-ones are an important thing for every manager to do. As 1 month grew from just 2 people to 10 people, I wanted to make sure that people were always able to communicate with me and to be able to express their feedback and concerns with me. So I started doing one-on-ones with everyone in the company weekly. Now, this becomes really hard to do as you grow, but I think it is important that every manager at a company should be doing one-on-ones with all of their direct reports at least every 2 weeks. No more than that. It's really pretty important. And so I had to learn a lot about how to do an effective one-on-one, and I developed a good amount of experience doing it over the last 3 years, so I wanted to share my lessons learned for good one-on-ones. Okay, so first thing, have a consistent one-on-one structure. It doesn't have to be the same for each person, but it helps both you and the other person plan if you know that there's a consistent structure that you're going through. Without it, it can be pretty easy for the one-on-one to kind of devolve into a project update or a conversation about some urgent issue, and that's not really the point. The point for a one-on-one is that it's an opportunity for you to connect with someone as an individual and talk about what they're excited about, what they're concerned about. It also gives them the opportunity to raise things to you that you might not have another good channel to talk about. I like to open up the agenda for a one-on-one to the other person who I'm meeting with and let them kind of structure it however they want to. That makes it also easier for me, so I don't need to be thinking about and planning for every single one-on-one. There may be a few things that I do cover regularly, and feedback is often one of them, but for the most part I let the person I'm meeting with come to me with issues. And what you can do is actually have them email you an agenda ahead of time before the meeting, either day of or the day before, and that can really help guide the discussion. Another good structure or technique that I've used in one-on-ones, it's called Rose, Thorn, and Bud. And the general idea is to have people talk about right now for them, what is the rose, which is what's the most exciting thing going on for them right now? What is the thorn, the most inconvenient thing, or the thing that's kind of been a thorn in their side the last few days or few weeks? And what is the bud, the thing that is kind of on the horizon that hasn't happened yet, but could turn out to be a rose, could turn out to be a thorn. They're not really sure, but it's kind of bubbling with excitement and possibility. So that's a really good structure to start to do one-on-ones, and you can do them really quickly in 15 minutes, or you can take a full hour, kind of depending on what you want to do. Second tip would be to take notes and to refer back to them in the next meeting. That way you can identify similar topics and themes that come up over time. You can raise questions like, hey, last time you mentioned that this thing was an issue. Is that still a problem, or have you dealt with that? It makes people feel like you're actually listening, which is a kind of, a cool thing to do. What I like to do is I take notes on my laptop in Evernote while I'm talking to someone, and I make sure to maintain good eye contact. You can use Evernote or you can use a notebook or something like that. It doesn't really matter as long as you use a system that works for you. At first, I thought it felt weird to take notes on a computer while talking to someone, but actually I explained to people why I was doing it, and it seemed that worked pretty well for people, and they actually started to appreciate it because it feels like you're really listening, and at this point it's not even an issue. Third tip I would say is while you're doing a one-on-one, identify opportunities for action and follow-up. So most of the follow-up from the process should be to identify either individual problems that are coming up, team problems, identify conflicts around performance and things before they happen, or areas where someone doesn't really feel sure what to do. And once you've identified an issue like this, you want to determine what the follow-up action might be. You don't have to do it right then and there. A good approach is actually to help the other person try to walk through the problem-solving process on your own. That way they're not coming to you necessarily with every problem, and they're trying to think through this, and you're teaching them what an effective problem-solving process might actually be. Now, sometimes the discussion's going to end up focusing on another person or an issue. I would highly recommend that you don't gossip, and definitely don't confirm that you agree with what the other person's saying if it's about another employee. Doing that can actually lead to problems. It can lead to people being demotivated or you essentially making someone on your team ineffective, thank them for their feedback. Tell them you don't necessarily agree with it. You may have to bring the other person into the room with the three of you for some sort of conflict resolution session. This does happen sometimes. If you want to read more about this, check out The Hard Thing About Hard Things with Ben Horowitz, in which he talks more about how you should be dealing with this kind of stuff as it comes up during one-on-ones. Number 4, work on your active listening. It's a skill really that is very important and you need to use to get someone to open up and listen. There's a great book called Crucial Conversations, and in that book there's a framework that I use for soliciting feedback called AMP, A-M-P-P. And it stands for Ask, Mirror, Paraphrase, Prime. These are 4 techniques you use to get someone to open up. So first, ask them, obviously. How are you feeling? What do you think about this issue? Mirror them. You can mirror back to them and say, hey, you say that you are totally fine or that this isn't an issue, but based on your behavior, or based on this thing that you did, I'm getting the impression that the opposite might be true. That's often a good way to get people to open up. Like, we all know someone who will say, no, everything's fine, don't worry about it. And I found that in mirroring, by saying, well, you're saying that you're fine, but your behavior and the way that you're speaking leads me to believe that actually you're kind of upset right now. But saying something like that and kind of holding up a mirror to their own behavior and their own actions, you can often get them to say, you know what, you're right, I am upset, here's why. And then, they tell you. The third is paraphrasing. Obviously, that's just repeating back to someone in different words to confirm if you actually got what they're saying properly. So you're saying that this situation bothered you because this person behaved in this way. Is that right? Did I get that right? Or is it actually something else? Sometimes you'll find that your interpretation's a little bit off. And if those 3 don't work, then the last one, priming, you can kind of give someone a little bit of something. Like, is it possible that you're upset because of this? Or is it possible that you're frustrated? You can kind of take a guess. So those are 4 really good techniques. Also ask a lot of follow-up questions. I find saying something like, tell me more, is really, really important. It usually works to get them to open up and also to give them space to talk. So just because they've sort of taken a pause doesn't mean that they're done saying all the things they want to say. And I like to, in my head, count to 2 before I say anything or interrupt in order to get people to say more. Oftentimes people actually have more to say, and it's only by waiting that you get to hear some of that stuff. And the 5th and final tip that I have for good one-on-ones is make it easy for yourself. I used to stall on one-on-ones for a while because finding time in my schedule made it kind of hard and it became a hassle. I had other people start booking it on my calendar for me. So sending me calendar invites. Like I mentioned, I had them send me their agenda in advance, so I didn't have to do all that much preparation. I made it take just half an hour. Another option, would be to have like an assistant schedule one or set up a doodle or something like that. So those are some tips for how you can start doing one-on-ones. If you follow these steps, I guarantee you'll become a better leader. You'll become a better manager at your organization. And I'd love to hear your feedback for people who have tried one-on-ones. Do you love it or hate it? What have you seen work really well? What doesn't work well? Post them in the comments below. And if you like this video and if you want to read more and get more in the series, subscribe to Founder Friday by clicking this right now. Click the like button. And talk to you guys soon.